So is this going to be the first painting that you've done of the Eiffel Tower in your Lost Art series?
It is, yeah. Actually,
It is.
It's interesting. I try to vary the subjects and the locations so that I have monuments maybe appearing in some of them, and then just kind of hidden away places that could be anywhere in Paris. And so I maybe I've been avoiding the Eiffel Tower, so it's kind of interesting to actually attack it. And
Yes.
I'm kind of nervous about it being in the painting. I hope it's not
It's such a famous
too much.
centerpiece of Paris. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's going to be very, very Parisian, I guess. The most like a postcard, I think, out of all the Lost Arts I've ever done. So maybe I'll try to do it calmly, kind of muted, maybe not. Or maybe I should go for it. Just go, big Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Be done with it.
Bold.
Yeah. It's interesting. I try to find a spot that would look like a nice place to leave it. So sometimes that can be tricky, like getting it so I could find the view where I can get a picture, and then also a nice little spot where I can leave it for somebody to find it. So far, I'm not seeing anything yet. I don't know.
So tell me all about this whole project. What's the concept behind it, Leslie?
I kind of tried to find trash around the locations that I want to paint, and then bring it back here and do a painting in situ where I'll leave it so people can see that there is a theme of the location of the painting, and that, I don't know, maybe even that there's the moment of painting in a place, if somebody likes to share that moment through the place, if that interests somebody to see it, or they have a park that they like to go to and they see the painting, maybe they'll enjoy having a painting of that park. I don't know what I imagine, but
There's a multitude of possibilities, isn't there, about
Yeah.
what might come from each art piece.
yeah, it's true. And it's interesting to see responses, because I guess one of the things that I guess for my own curiosity, I leave the web address on the back when I leave it, so if somebody finds it and they want to get in touch with me, they can. I did a small painting on a roof tile in the small town of Moigny-sur-Cole, which I'm pushing the French. And they had a really beautiful church, and I did the painting and I left it in front of the Marie, and the mayor found it and sent me a really nice email about how much they loved finding the painting, and now it's on display in their library in Moigny, and I've gone to see it, which was a really cool experience.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's neat to see it there, and to think that I think when I leave them, that I will lose them forever and they'll disappear and nobody will find them, and so it's really exciting to hear back and see photos of them and happy people that have found them. It's really touching. It's neat. I guess each object is its own challenge. Like, how do I paint on this thing? What do I do? I originally had the idea for doing the Lost Art project because I have a habit of finding really interesting objects that people are throwing out and collecting them, taking them home, that I want to make art with or paint on. And I was keeping them all in my cob, my little studio, and it started getting outrageous. Like, I had so much stuff and I wasn't actually doing any of the art on them or making art with them. And I thought, this is definitely a problem. I have a problem of keeping all this stuff, and what is my issue? And I realized that I was afraid to paint on it and to let it go, that it would get lost and that it would disappear. And I think maybe it has something to do with my fear of death or getting lost, and that eventually I'm going to disappear. And I thought, well, what better way to tackle that than to actually just to do it, to pose that question of what is losing something I create, or doing a painting and finding an interesting piece of material and doing a painting on it, and then just leaving it for people to find or people not to find, or for it to go on its way into the world and become trash, continue to be trash, or somebody will find it and make it something that they care about and take it home with them.
Many people talk nowadays about being in the moment and appreciating what you have at the time and not worrying so much about what might or might not go on in the future. But you know, it's one thing talking about it and quite another thing to live that life. And you seem to be able to live that life of just existing right now in Paris. It's quite a precarious existence at times financially. But where do you think the bravery comes from in you to live in the moment?
That's interesting. I guess, I don't know if I feel very brave. I guess I can't imagine doing it any other way. So I feel like a lot of it feels like maybe the only way that feels right, I guess, in my heart, that I feel like I have to follow my heart and just see what happens. And maybe a trust that something, well, I don't even know, maybe even if it doesn't work out, or that's okay too. So as long as I know I've tried, or that I'm doing something I care about, then it's okay, whatever happens. Yeah, it's interesting though. It doesn't feel courageous to me, but necessary maybe.
I think many of the people I know would be, you know, they do concern themselves with talk of pensions and just how they're going to exist after they finish working at 60 or 65. And it is, you could look at that as great planning, or you could look at that as not being very wise about, you know, what's happening right now. You know, you're
Right.
existing right now.
It's interesting. I guess I've seen it go wrong for so many people who spend their life working really hard at something that they might not care about completely, and in the hope that when they're done, they've saved something up to have their real life that they've been dreaming of after they retire, and then something goes wrong and then they never get to live that dream or have that experience, whether it's the money they saved disappears in some way because their 401k falls through, or they lose the job and they don't get the pension, or they get sick, and there's no guarantee, I guess,
No, exactly right.
that what you're working for is actually going to happen. So I try to keep that in mind, to know that to balance it, just to make sure I'm happy with whatever happens, and I don't feel like I'm waiting for some magical day in the future that may never come, but that I'm living it right now to the best of my ability.
Like, are you content with what you're doing and how you're doing it, or are you moving towards a certain goal with your art, of perhaps an exhibition, or, you know, I just don't know. People do it for many reasons, don't they?
That's true. I guess I hope to improve. I know I feel like I'm constantly trying to kind of create something that I feel like I have emotions inside maybe that I want to express through my art. So I feel like I'm continually trying to assess that and get better at processing that through my art. And then for the art itself to reach more people and finding different ways of reaching people and getting it out there, and just seeing if it reaches anybody, or if I could reach more people,